good? What's good? H mob, T mob, P mob, whatever fucking mob you is. We back. It's time for the season, and yes, we watching Reliving the War again. But last time I was watching, it shit was laggy and shit. I'm not gonna lie to you, but we bought new Wi-Fi stick, so shit should be all good. I'm pretty sure. I was checking all the diagnostics, analytics, whatever the word is. It's working. It's fine. So let's get to it. Now, shout out to my DPW boys. Before we ever started reliving the war, we gotta check in with the dirt sheets. So what was going on September 4th, 2000? So to read here, WWF SummerSlam is in the books, and it was a fantastic show that raised the bar with crazy stunts. Now, I watched that SummerSlam show. Damn, that was a really good show. We had I think Benoit versus Jericho, gas. You know that will always be gas. Whenever he who shall not be named, whenever he's in a match with the likes of Jericho, Eddie, let me think, Kurt Angle, damn, Kurt Angle too. Even like The Rock, he has some few good matches with The Rock, no belt. But like, yeah, he who shall not be named. It's sad what he did, but shit, he is one of the greatest of all time. If we really put him down the books, ECW, WCW, WWE, and NJPW as well. There's not too many niggas that can say they have the same resume as him and the same amount of quality around different, organizations too, and was around the main event scene. So that's gas too. I don't know if y'all niggas can hear me properly, but let me put the mic closer to me. Alright. Let's see. There was a show still in TLC match between Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys, and the Dudley Boys. Gas match. If you haven't seen it, watch it right now. Honestly, watch the WrestleMania 16 one. That one's really good. Watch the SummerSlam one, of course, like I just said. Watch the fucking WrestleMania 17 one. And you niggas have to watch TLC 3. Now, was TLC 4 as good? I think that was the one on Raw when they did the spin the wheel shit. Was it as good? The third one might be the best one, though. It's the third one or the second one. No count. Yeah, niggas cannot stop me from saying that. But it is crazy how the Edge and Christian won all three of them, though. Like the first three. It's really crazy when you think about it. If you include the triangle ladder match as well. But it was good booking, and it didn't even matter who lost because it all got over. Like, that match never got stale at all. It's kind of crazy to think about. Like, Edge and Christian and the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys will fight all the time. Heaps from like 2000, 2001, and some of 2002 as well. And they were just hitting bangers, 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 bangers. And it didn't get stale too. That's impressive. That's real impressive. Now, what else is there? Shane McMahon also took a crazy bump with the Titan Trump. Now, that's the one I knew Steve Beckman from. Hit him with the kendo stick. And you fell back. Go. A coffin drop. And then fucking Ken Shamrock hit him with the shoulder. Is it shoulder? Am I an idiot? Elbow. I'm putting on my elbow and I said my damn shoulder. Like, yeah, get your head in the game. But yeah, that shit happened too. It's just like nice to think about. Elbow drop. Yeah, see it just sit right there. Dave worries about all the backyard wrestler type kids trying to copy all the dangerous stuff because it's given that it will happen. Very true, and it still goes on to with like how a lot of people like Foley inadvertently influence deathmatch wrestling, which I do not condone. Fuck. Okay, shout out my nigga New Jack, but yeah, I don't really fuck with deathmatch wrestling outside of like the few instances, like for example ECW. I don't know if that counts as like deathmatch wrestling, but even that can get too much. Like the fucking, is it like that 2Pay Street Fighter or some shit? The one where like Ian Rudd and Axel Rudd fought each other with having glass glued to their fucking hands. Like, who logically thinks that? And why would you think that's smart? But like, yeah, it's crazy that like a lot of those wrestlers during that era that would just bleed on top of each other did not catch any diseases. Like, those niggas were not careful as well, especially in the indie shows, like the underground. That niggas just casually bleed with each other, get each other's blood, put them on each other, put on their skin, lick it, all that weird shit, and they didn't catch anything. It's crazy. The only big case of that happening was Abdullah the Butcher, and I think, what's that other nigga name? Hannibal? I don't know, whatever. Yeah, that was the biggest instance, but outside of that, you never really hear too much about that. That's crazy to think about. Shit. Um, but backyard wrestlers don't have crash pads, doctors on site, and other safety precautions, as the WWF says, which is correct. Obviously, you can't legislate stupidity, but the WWF is the industry leader, and when someone dies jumping off a ladder from their roof through a table, It's crazy to think about. People are going to point the finger of blame at them and use things like this as an example, which is very correct. We can see that happen all throughout history, and why they started doing the don't do the shit at home thing around, I think when they went PG, that's when they started doing that. I remember seeing that all up in the games. Every time you open the games, don't do this at home. Best believe me and my niggas was jumping off shit, using whatever weapon we can as a fake chair. And like niggas weren't faking that shit too. It was real fights, real elbows, real stunners, real RKOs, real punches, real everything. And me and my niggas started our own wrestling company. Shit, we could have been like suited at WWE and UFC. It would have been so crazy. But like, oh, I remember I seen this video of like two kids wrestling. It's like, I don't know if should I. Ah, fuck, I'm too lazy to set it up. Like, we gotta. Last time I spent like an hour talking about the dirt sheets, which is crazy to think about, but fuck it though. Obviously, yeah, for example, Dave just feels like the bar on crazy stunts is beginning to be raised too high, which is like, it's been raised even further. So shit, raised too high. Anyway, the show was sold out, and because of the high ticket prices, it was the seventh highest gate in the history of American pro wrestling. Oh shit. And the first time they done a gate over $1 million for something other than WrestleMania. Goated. The show was main evented by Rock, Triple H, and Kurt Angle. Of course, the one where Kurt Angle actually got a concussion. And I saw Angle actually get legitimately knocked loopy early in the match on the table bump when the announcer table broke before it was supposed to. After the match, Angle couldn't remember anything that happened after the botched spot, and he was taken to the hospital and kept overnight for observation. Yeah, if you ever seen this, Angle is massively concussed. He's so clearly out of it. Angle later said that when Stephanie came out at the end of the match and they were outside the ring, Stephanie kept having to lead him through spots. Throw him against the stairs. Okay, now grab his leg. Okay, now do this. He was obviously gone. Like, gone. Like, he put it in all caps, my nigga. Shout out my nigga MF Doom. All caps, gone. Knowing what we know now about concussions is scary to watch. Which is very true. I don't know if the person put notes in it or if it was actually Dave that read that shit. But yeah, it is actually kind of crazy. When did this come out? 7 years ago. 7 years ago would be 20. Oh, I'm so stupid. 2018, I believe. Damn. 2018 was a long time ago. And I hear that 7 years ago, I'm like, bitch, I just started high school. Now you telling me we're fucking 2025 and I'm in like university? Damn. He's getting old as shit. Other nuts from SummerSlam, there was an ad during the show for a place called Vinny's Restaurant in Raleigh, North Carolina, where the show was. So it reminds me of fucking Pasta Mania, if you niggas know what I'm talking about. That restaurant was usually started by one of Vince McMahon's close childhood friends and is actually named in honor of Vince. He helped originally finance the place, so that's why that was plugged during the show. The place still exists, but Vince's friend sold it to new owners way back in 2002. China won the IC title by pushing Trish Stratus. Don't ask. Jericho Benoit in a 2 out of 3 falls match was good, but rushed and was missing something. I don't know. I fucked with the match heavy. Dave predicts the TLC match will get a lot of votes of the match of the year. Makes sense. Cat versus Terry in a stink face match was what you would expect. But Dave notes that Al Snow managed to grab a handful of both women's ass and was during the match. Undertaker versus Kane never really got going, and that whole storyline was thrown together at the last minute anyway, after Big Show got pulled out of the card. And Rock retained the WWF title in a match that was built around the Triple H, Kurt Angle, and Stephanie McMahon love triangle. I mean, love triangles can be done right. Like, it depends. Like, what they're doing with the Bloodline now, not the Bloodline, the Judgment Days, kind of iffy. Like, hey, you know, Dom and Rhea had their moments, and then obviously, what's her name? Liv. Has to be Liv Morgan came in and did a whole bit. That I understand. But not trying to do the same shit with Roxanne Perez. Like, I understand. Make that nigga a womanizer, you know, that James Bond gimmick they gave to fucking Dean Malenka. Yeah, that shit was like kind of funny. But still, there's like limits to that shit. You know, you can't make it get repetitive, otherwise it just becomes a cycle. Like you know, Dom is IC champion, so make that nigga seem like a IC champion. You know, don't make that nigga look like fuck the championship. I just want the hoes, nigga. We don't care about the hoes. We want the championship. I mean, some niggas care about it. Some niggas want to look at the girls and shit. I mean, I guess, whatever, like, whatever floats your boat. But I'm here for the wrestling. I'm here for the wrestling. I'm here for the, the grapples and like. That's the wrong hand movement. All right, I'm here for the grappling. Niggas hit with a arcade. And niggas hit him with the stunner. And niggas hit him with the attitude adjustment. I'm trying to see them shits. I'm not trying to see all that other shit really. If I wanted to see that shit, there's other websites specifically for that shit. Or I can go on YouTube and watch, I don't know, J Cinco or something. Y'all niggas that do that shit, hold your I don't do that shit. But like, whatever, man. Fortunately, the match was already booked to have Angle disappear for a large part of it after the table bump, which is unfortunate since he really did need that extra 15 minutes or so halfway to recover after being knocked loopy. When Angle was being crated out on the stretcher, Triple H went after him and was supposed to tip over the stretcher and beat up Angle some more. But by that point, they all kind of realized that Angle was seriously hurt, so Triple H improvised and didn't really do anything to him other than hit him with the work punches while he waited for The Rock to come interrupt, and then they took Angle backstage, which is dope. And then the latest Pride event in the books featured Ken Shamrock. I don't know too much about Pride. I know that's like, I'm about to say UFC, but that's like, the fuck. It wouldn't be mixed martial arts. It would be, I forgot what the word is, but like, I guess mixed martial arts or like professional fighting, I know it's the other term for that. ECW put on 2 shows at the Hammerstein Ballroom in NYC this week, and many were calling it the greatest weekend in ECW history, with 2 of the best shows the company ever put on. Ooh, now I might have to watch this. I do plan on doing a viewing of the first ECW show, and if y'all niggas fuck with that, obviously we can make it a series, just like I'm doing with Reliving the War. Shout out my niggas Wrestling Bias. I put it in the previous video, but I was lagging like shit, so y'all niggas didn't hear that. But like, best YouTuber out. Don't even watch him through me. If you are watching me, watch him through him. He deserves the views. Dead ass. The event even got the front cover page of the next day's New York Daily News. Oh shit. The 2 shows consisted of 5 hours of TV tapings, which will be the final shows for ECW on TNN. Real. And it ended with Cyrus canceling ECW on TNN. At the first show, Mikey Whipwreck into Jerry. I love Jerry if y'all niggas in there. And Mikey Whipper, I fuck with you, He had a nice moveset. It sucks he didn't wrestle much out the ECW, but that nigga put me on to Beck, so like, that's all you need to know. Won the tournament to crown new tag champions, but lost them at the next show. Kid Cash became TV champion. Dawn Marie returned as Steve Corino's manager, which also came out with Smashing Pumpkins singer Billy Corgan, and he got involved as well. Oh, that's dope. I mean, that's a precursor to like the NWA and shit, so like, yeah. But it wasn't all good. Psychosis faced Tony DeVito in a match that was such a styles clash and so bad that it will probably won't make television. But several other matches were great. It ended with Cyrus canceling ECW, which brought out Paul Heyman, and he laid out Cyrus only to have Rhino put Heyman through a table, and a huge brawl broke out. Yeah, this whole angle is great and crowd is nuclear type shit. Regarding the actual real cancellation of ECW, there's a lot of hope that they will end up on USA. And there's a lot of talk about it being a 2-hour show on Saturday nights. Although nothing has been finalized yet, the plan for a new 2-hour show will be for it to be a heavy focus on good in-ring wrestling. I love how Heyman was already beginning with the changing. Yeah, Heyman has been on record saying that if ECW was to continue going, they'll change it more from the extreme and deathmatch style, which was like very popular in the counterculture of the 90s, towards more technical wrestling, like ROH. He said that on record, and that's what he was going to do with the ECW on Sci-Fi as well. Sucks that he didn't get the chance. It would have been pretty dope to see Paul Heyman booking with actual good wrestling. Imagine ROH with Paul Heyman booking. That would be like a love. Like, damn. That would have been so dope. But we didn't get that shit, so sucks unfortunately. USA is still appealing the Raw decision, so that's one of the major holdups from striking a deal with ECW. Which, I mean, I don't think they're going to do it to begin with, but must be a slow week because with the 2000 Summer Olympics approaching, that was the one at motherfucking Sydney, which, our girl, what's her name? Fuck, I forgot her name. It's the Aboriginal girl that was, like, running on some shit called gold medal, like, fuck, how'd I forget her name, man? She like an icon for real in Australia, but, that don't matter, whatever. or transition to pro wrestling or MMA or vice versa. I feel like we just did this a few months ago, but this is way more in depth. Dating back to 1906, man, I'm sure this is interesting to read, but fuck that. It's lunchtime for me anyway. I think I'm going to Subway. I'm back. Lunch is fine. This nigga serious? Okay. And talks about Dave talks about the Andy Hug, a kickboxer in Japan. And I don't know too much about this, but condolences. Speaking of Hug's death, NJPW, I'm not too sure about that. So, if y'all niggas know more about that, more to you. Raw was moved back to 2 hours due to the U.S. Open tennis tournament this week, and so is aired from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. EST, and it still did an incredible 4.93 ratings. Now, I'm a fan of 2 hour Raws. Going back to watching old Raws and Smackdowns, I'm like you fucking with the 2 hour format better because one, not everybody has time to sit down for 3 hours. Like this is not like live sports, so it's a whole different aspect, and also it's just with wrestling. Obviously, you want to format it around good shows and good wrestling. So it's funny to think about the older eras who were better during those 2 hours than now when we have 3 hours and we have niggas like Seth Rollins and the niggas sleep. That's not pushing Braun Breaker. I'm still mad about it. Please push Braun Breaker. He deserves that push. Not like other niggas too. That's trying to think who else puts niggas to sleep. He's niggas putting niggas to sleep. I'll be watching Raw and I'll just be like that shit's not as gas as Triple H thinks it is. But as he says, if you don't like the show, don't watch then. What type of shit is that? Don't you need constructive feedback in order to improve your show? That's how Vince created the Attitude Era. That's how we got the Bloodline. That's how we got the change from Roman Reigns. That's how niggas improve in daily life. They take constructive criticism. So, that's how I like to talk about it. So, watch CJX. CJX do be hating sometimes, I'm gonna lie to you. But majority of the time, or 60 out of 40% of the time, he's talking straight facts. This nigga I'll be hearing this shit and I'll be like, huh, why don't they do this shit? Or I'll be hearing this shit and I'll be like, I agree with this 100%. That is. Which is still bonkers for that late of a time slot. Bonkers, man, absolutely bonkers. It also still destroying Nitro, of course, which aired at an unimposed time in its normal time slot, and still couldn't come close to touching Raw. As for this week's Thunder, it did a near record low of 1.89. Now that's crazy, because niggas would definitely be scratching and scathing for a 1.89 rating, which is the second lowest in the history of the show. Although, to be fair, it was going head to head against the finale of Survivor. I don't know too much about Survivor in America. Oh, hold on, I got a text message. My apologies. I'll get back to it later. This is way more important to me. Atsushi Onita at the latest AJPW show. Now, if I'm pretty sure this is the name of the person who started at FMW, which is a really good thing for wrestling because obviously it gave this limelight when older wrestlers Terry Funk, obviously Sabu, the original Sheik. I'm trying to think, Mick Foley, and other wrestlers. I'm not too in tune with that, and it did give the catalyst for this ECW. So respect to Atsushi Onita. I'm not too good with Japanese names. Apologies. In an angle and had an exchange in the ring with Matoka Baba, and Miss Fuchi. It's all leading to Onita's return to AJPW because they're still desperately trying to bring in anyone that will keep them from collapsing. From what I know now, AJPW is not a thing anymore. I think NJPW obviously is pretty much how everybody views Japanese wrestling. It's either you think of NJPW or you think of Noah, in my eyes. Alright. Fox News ran a segment on a backyard wrestling focus on a kid in Chicago who broke his neck after taking a tombstone wrong. The kid's mom was on the show, and was Mick Foley, telling kids that sending the WWF a tape of you doing backyard wrestling isn't going to get you looked at, much less signed, which is very true. Why were y'all niggas thinking this? You need to get years of like, you know, fucking experience in the indies, and you need to get trained. Not everyone can be a fucking backyard wrestler or a trampoline wrestler, my nigga. Dave says that's all well and good, but the reality is half of the people in WF started up wrestling with their friends in their backyards. Which is very true. Foley's history is well known with him jumping off the. Damn, my nigga, I need to put this shit on mute, bro. Uh, you singing wrestling on TV? I don't mind getting one. You sent on because I have two cars. You can say I mean like. My apologies. The kid's mom, half of wrestling, yeah, obviously well known for jumping off his roof and shit. The Hardy Boys, Sean Helms and Shannon Moore started their group, so I remember the backyard shit when they were teenagers in their yard. And Dave is willing to bet that the vast majority of guys who get into the business in the next decade or so will probably have started that way also, which is not kept. It's not safe, and kids definitely need to be careful and stop doing this shit. But the reality is they weren't. They're kids. It's the same as NBA players who grow up playing basketball in their driveway, or NFL players started out playing basketball with no helmets or pads in their backyard with their friends, which is just the true nature of growing up watching sports. To Jerry, nigga, to Jerry, nigga, to Jerry, nigga, had to return to Japan for next month for legal issues regarding his visa. Damn. ECW is hoping to have all the visa stuff worked out so that Tajiri and Super Crazy can return to the October pay-per-view. Speaking of pay-per-views, ECW really loves the Hammerstein Ballroom, and everyone in the company feels like it's the perfect building for ECW. It's likely they will hold a pay-per-view there soon. The final two pay-per-views in ECW history take place there as well as the first two pay-per-views of the new WWE ECW a few years later. Neither ECW or XPW have filed lawsuits against each other over the incident that took over at Heatwave, which was, as I remember, what was her name again? It was Francine was supposed to have a spot, but then obviously one of the girls in the crowd flashed, and then that broke out into a whole fight, and then crazy niggas came out and niggas fighting and shit, the usual. So that seems to be mostly a dead issue right now. Yeah, it never really went past this. XPW kept talking shit for a while, but that was the end of the feud, I guess. ECW was too busy trying not to die. Notes for Nitro. They held the show in a smaller arena. I'm not too fussed about that. Actually, I do want to read it. This is fucking Nitro. They held the show in a smaller arena that only holds 5,000, so it was actually close to full. Still not so. The big WCW, which had niggas like the NWO, Ric Flair, Sting, Jeff Jarrett, Scott Hall. Actually, Scott Hall was out of the company at the moment because what he was doing. Rip to my nigga Scott Hall, the GOAT. Scott Hall, Kevin Nash. Not Hulk Hogan, but the niggas that had the Steiners. I'm trying to think of more acts that are like really over. The Steiners, Booker T, the Harlem Brothers, WCW B Team, WCW Wolfpack. I'm trying to think of other names too. I'm losing them. Let me head back and let me use my memory. Who are we missing? Oh no. Buff Bagwell. American males. And then I'm trying to think what else. Oh, you get the point. The big WCW, the number one in around like 97, 98, and the business they were doing in 89 and 90. So it's like they couldn't get 5,000 people. That's tough, my nigga. That's really tough. So it was actually close to full. Still not sold out, but it made for a much better atmosphere. There's some shit that fucking AEW needs to take shit from. Like, it's fine if you can't pack out big arenas, just go in a smaller one, have a better crowd, better atmosphere, and just build that shit up. It's TV. It's not like you're gonna be scrolling all around to find all the niggas in TV. No one's gonna be like, oh shit, that's not actually that's kept. If I was watching TV, I would look for my friend in that shit. Damn. Huh. Fucking the Wolf Game. Arenas, WCW has been performing. He calls Tigress versus Paisley versus. What type of fucking match is this? And don't tell me I gotta watch this shit. Don't tell me I gotta watch this shit. My word. Major guns. Major guns. And I'm pretty sure Paisley is Shamel. Let me just search that shit up. Paisley, WCW. It is Shamel, I am correct. Paisley, the worst 20 seconds in the history of sports entertainment. Mike Olsen is now doing a retro 70s gimmick. That 70s guy, like I was talking about, I wish I could have clipped that shit, but like the white boys, just in case that he wasn't dead enough in the company. Nash cut a promo saying he was going to eat a little Korean. Interesting line, Brody, which was apparently a reference to Nitro Gauche. All right, let me do my research on that one. Let me do my research. Hey man, it's pretty dope, I guess. Not really my style, not really my swag, but you know, that's you, I guess. Who he is, Perma saying who he is dating. Conan returned to action way sooner than he should have after his right tricep surgery. Dave talks about how WCW cuts people's paychecks in half if they're injured out too long, and how it leads to worse injuries because people are returning because they're ready and get injured again. Which is kind of stupid to think. You're already wasting your money on a lot of niggas that are just sitting home. Like, you guys legit gave Scott Steiner like a timeout with pay. So it's like basically like if your mama catch you on the game at 2 a.m. and be like, you know what, son? You're in the corner now, and then he just like in the corner playing on these switch. Like, my nigga, what's the difference? Now you just taking him away to do, like, you know, that's dumb as shit. Like, nigga, if you gonna take that nigga off TV, take away he's paid too. But again, it is Scott Steiner, and like, I'm not fucking with Scott Steiner. You fucking with Scott Steiner? I'm not fucking with Scott Steiner. I feel like that nigga will get you like goozle position and be like, like that nigga like shaky for your lunch money, and then hit your ass like one of them. It's like body slam you. You know, he did create the 450 splash, which is nutty, bro. That nigga way too big to be doing that shit. Cuts people paychecks in half and they're injured. Dave knows that some guys in the company have a habit of milking injuries so they can stay at home and collect the check. But Conan had a very real surgery and they know that. So anyway, he's back. They did a big thing with Russo threatening to fire Goldberg. Now, damn, my nigga, this shit way too loud. I'm just hearing ding, ding, ding in the background. Like, my nigga, I might have to meet the group chat, bro. Anyways, besides the point, y'all niggas know me and Russo is like, actually, I don't know Russo. I don't know. I have my problems with Vince Russo, the booker. You know, he was interesting. Like, I think if you watched the previous stream, which probably you guys didn't. Anyways, if you did watch the previous stream, there was the fucking flying coffin in the TNA match. If you don't know, it's I think it's one of the 2007 pay-per-views. Like, Sting was on there and it was flying, and niggas were screaming, "Fire Russo, fire Russo," which makes sense. You know, Russo's had a very polarizing and interesting career as a booker. You know, honestly, anything beyond 99 is, my nigga, it's time to give it up. Your jerseys could have been in the rafters. In the belt, they could have been in the rafters. Now that shit in the bin. Alright? This is not 2010 LeBron James after the decision. It's even worse. It's Vince Russo. This is like KD to the Warriors. Except KD moved to Washington Wizards. Which actually make no sense at all. Like, the analogy just went nowhere, but fuck it, you know? But Vince Russo. Completely forgetting the fact that just 2 weeks ago on Nitro, the big storyline was about how Russo couldn't fire Goldberg because of some clause in his contract, which is like Vince Russo booking at his finest. But hey, who cares about plot holes? They had an angle where the ICP and Vampire destroyed the big screen ever. I remember seeing this shit in the last episode of fucking Reliving the War. Fire these niggas, man. Like, damn. For a company that is fractionally cutting costs everywhere, Dave questions the logic in destroying an expensive piece of the set for an angle no one cares about. Bret Hart came back and blamed the Montreal screw job on Vince Russo, which makes no fucking sense. Because, one, I don't think Russo was on the booking team at the time. Two, we all know that was Shawn, Vince McMahon, and DX pretty much, and Pat Patterson, just the higher ups. I don't think any of the bookers had anything to do with it outside like a few of them. And you know, would have been nice if you did this shit back in '98 after he moved from he left in '97. If you did this back in '97 after he left, but you decided to do it 3 years later, which like doesn't make much sense, you know, like at all. Because we're still booking angles about that 3 years later. Hart then attacked Goldberg in the angle, blaming him for ending his career. They just think this is a great angle, but the problem is it makes people want to see Goldberg versus Bret Hart, and well, it's clearly not fucking happening at all. Johnny Ace is said to be impressing people backstage in WCW with booking and production meetings. Man. Johnny Ace. Or for y'all niggas that don't know, Johnny Laurinaitis. Fuck this nigga. 100% fuck this nigga. Fuck this nigga. That's all I gotta say. Fuck this nigga. Fuck you, my nigga. Fuck you. Oh, speaking of Ace and Kevin Nash got into a heated argument backstage at Nitro. A lot of wrestlers have been fined in the last few weeks for being late, and it is believed the fines were Ace's idea. So Nash confronted him about it, and it turned out to have such a heated argument that it almost got physical. Scott Steiner suffered an orbital injury during a brawl on Nitro last week on Goldberg. Alright, see, so like, this nigga is clearly an issue. Alright? Because, one, we have right here, right here, we have angle about Bret Hart having a problem with Dave Goldberg for him ending his career. And then we have right here, Scott Steiner suffered an orbital injury during a brawl with Goldberg, accidentally potatoing him. So if we see there's two instances, and it seems to be the same person in this shit. Same person. So like, don't take me for it. He is wrestling Gunther. Gunther? When is that? I want to see. Fucking stupid match. Who the fuck thought this is a nice match? That's kind of people complaining about Gunther vs. Goldberg. Please forget that this is gonna be a co-main event of WrestleMania 36, my nigga. A big dog versus man, fucking, oh my gosh, look at him, my nigga. My nigga, you're 58 years old. You're 58 years old. This right here was your prime. Alright? This right here was your prime. At the big age of 34, my nigga. Big age of 34. So, Goldberg, you have not been in your prime for, we are in 2025. Let's say, when did you leave the WWE? 2004? My nigga, you have not been in your prime for over 20 years. For over 20 years, you have not been in your prime. The last time niggas genuinely cared about you was like, I'll give you 2017, 2018 when you had that shit with Undertaker and you beat Brock Lesnar. I'll give you that. And in doing that, you kind of fucked over my nigga Chris Jericho, which led to the birth of AEW, so. So it's like, good or bad, you did help AEW somehow. In an inverted way. But like, besides the point, my nigga, pack it up. Pack it up, my nigga. Like, get your bags, pick them up, go home, my nigga. Go home. What are you still doing here? Go home, my nigga. Go home. Go home. Go home, my nigga. Like, the fuck? Jeff Jarrett said in an interview that he would have stayed in WWF if the offer was right. And Russo said said that Russo was going to WCW didn't as cap, because Russo made you a main eventer, which you were never gonna be in the WWE if we're being honest. Like, Jeff Jarrett, I do like you. In the right circumstance, you can be a great wrestler. You know, you are a callback to that old golden era. You know, obviously the figure four look and you know your ties and your roots. You know, your father and with like Memphis wrestling and everything. But like, you were interesting in the main event scene, my big dog. Like, niggas is kind of getting tired of the guitar. When was the last time you really seen a guitar get used outside of Elias? You were kind of the reason you killed the guitar. You kind of the reason you killed the guitar. But hey, that ain't me though. But he said that the WWF's offer made by Jim Ross was insulting. He also said that he was pissed at Steve Austin because he took stunners from Austin several times on TV. But it was a time for Austin to work an angle with Jerry and you refused. Down. Dave explains the story of Jacques Rougeau quitting WCW recently, and there's just a big bunch of mess about Rougeau wanting to be a bigger part of the Team Canada angle with Lance Storm and Bret Hart, but he was only offered a per night deal, and then Russo tried to book him a job to the Cat. The Cat, my nigga? You wanna know? Alright, man. Rougeau felt WCW was only saw him as a jobber, and he wants to be more than that, so he quit. Understandable. They revealed who gives a fuck about the XFL? That's just gone. It died twice somehow, my nigga. Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler had a tryout to be XFL announcers and apparently did very well, but it's unknown. We don't give a fuck. Raven's ECW contract has expired and he has signed a deal with WWF, which is good. You know, he did do a few notable things, but he did get wasted. Raven could have been like so much better if the big companies actually used him. Jim Ross sent a memo out to all the wrestlers and reassured everyone that WWF has had no meetings with any WCW wrestlers, which is cap, and more cap. He said the company is happy with the locker room they have, with little drama and everyone in cohesive and working together, and they don't want to do anything to damage that morale, such as bringing old locker room cancer from WCW. That being said, both Steve Austin and Triple H have had expressed interest in wanting to work with DDP. So you're telling me the two biggest people right here want to work with DDP, but you decide to make him a stalker, job to the Undertaker, and not do anything significant. Now, if that's not Vince McMahon's big fuck you to WCW, I do not know what it is. But unless he gets a release, WWF won't even talk to him. The current plan for the next few weeks is to heavily hype the return of Steve Austin at TV on the first episode of Raw on TNN, which will be pretty dope. Alright. 7 stories. Russo level swerve. Nah, bro. It's time to get into that reliving the